Hello friends and welcome to my channel. So this is day 21, I believe, of my 100-day art project challenge. And today I'm going to start on a new sheet of paper. I do have like 5 cards left of the previous deck that I activated, and we'll get to them at some stage. But I feel the need for color and something new to work with over the next 9 or 18 days, depending on how much I can get out of this paper. So this is just watercolor paper. I think it is 300 gram. This is an A4. And this is just acid-free paper. I have no idea. It doesn't say if it's cotton. It's irrelevant. All you need to know is that this is a good quality watercolor paper that I'm going to use as my cardstock, because I can throw anything at it from water to oil. So I do like watercolor paper as a foundational medium to work on, simply because it is so strong and I can put any medium on it. And I'm going to be playing with this beautiful set of metallic watercolors that I got from Temu, and it's really beautiful pigments and I do enjoy them. So we're going to do some watercolor today. And I also have a water soluble graphite stick, and I also have some charcoal, and then I also have some watercolor pencils. So I'm just going to use this 10-minute session today to just play, activate this paper. I'm not going to paint or create something specific. It really is just going to be lines and shapes and forms, because we're going to be cutting this up into smaller little canvases. I'm going to try and measure better this time so that my cardstock is exactly the same size. So I will do that off camera. It's a little bit less intimidating, but I will explain the process. Again, like in the very first episode, at the end of this, when I've activated it and it's dried, I will turn this around, I will tear it off, and I will measure them 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter. That's sort of the idea. And yeah, that becomes my little canvases for the consequent episodes that will follow on that. So let's get into it. I'm just going to start with some charcoal, and I just want some interesting line and movement. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. But later, as you know now, there, is going to be some interesting little cardstock, and I'm going to have some interesting shapes and forms. And I always just try to repeat something somewhere in some way, shape or form, and just see what will happen. How will it activate me? I think that's the whole point. I want to stop thinking. I just want to do. So let's get some variety. Big, small, jagged, straight. Let's do some hatching. This creates a little bit of depth for me later, seeing that I'm going to be playing with pencils over this. I don't want it to be too dark. Okay, I think that is enough. Let's get into our watercolor pencils and just put down some color, because when we're going to start playing with water and watercolor on top of this, all of this or most of it will sort of react to the water. So let's just bring in a little bit of color somewhere, maybe some neutral color, it doesn't have to be something very specific. I try to be as random as I can. That feels the same as the other one. Let's switch to a lighter blue. And sometimes also what I do is I will play different kinds of music for myself to meditate with. It's not necessarily always the music that you hear that I put on the production afterwards. Sometimes it's very slow moving music. And then usually I find that I end my session before the clock. It's like there's more than enough time. And then other days I will play a little bit more rhythmic music, a little bit more upbeat music. And then sometimes I find, that I run out of time and that, I feel like I'm being chased. I think that is enough activation of my page. Let's just mist our water. Now where is my water mister? Here we go. So this is always a good idea to activate your watercolor a little bit with some water spray. And I want to use something a little bit moppish, something that I can't control too much. So I'm going to use my 1/2 inch goat mop brush. I'm going to activate the brush with water. And I'm going to go ahead and splatter the water on this page randomly and just let it fall. And you can see the charcoal is the first to sort of activate with this. And that's going to give us some beautiful marks to begin to play with. So I have no idea what the pencil is going to do over all of this. So it's going to be a surprise for me too. Okay, I think I want to play with a little bit of these colors that I haven't used a lot. So let's try this beautiful copper. And I'm just going to splatter and see where it lands. It's just going to give us some sparks of copper. I don't want to choose a color that's too, strong. I want to sort of also have the option to choose something different. So this color is a very interesting, like interference color or dual tone. When it's on the one side, it looks like a dark teal color, but on the other side, depending on how the light catches it, it gives you this deep red tones. That's also very interesting. And then I'm just going to add more water, seeing that these are all water mediums. I don't want everything to be hard edges. Okay, next. Here's another dual one. It's like a gold and a charcoal. Interesting. Now what I do like about these metallics is they dry beautifully, and then there's this iridescence to the page, which I think will be beautiful to play on. I also don't want the colors to be too dark, But you know, a little bit of contrast has never hurt anyone. And I think I want to add a bit of this coral. Pretty. I don't think I'm going to add much more to this. I do want to leave some space for creativity on top of this. I'm grabbing a kitchen towel because I might lift some areas and just remove some color. Maybe places where there's too much of a puddle. And that also adds some texture and interest. And I also know that watercolor dries a little bit lighter. Right. I think, where's my salt? I usually have a bit of salt around. I think I'm going to add some salt. Give me a second. Salt is interesting in watercolor because the areas that is wet will dissolve some of the salt and it creates interesting blooms and just a bit of texture that I haven't had in my previous sheet of paper. Just randomly throwing some salt on there. I'll come with the camera from the side and show you basically where all the texture is landing here. I'm just deciding. Let's see, maybe try a different brush and a different color. I do like something a little bit more. Let's see what happens when you play. Just add a little bit more. The only thing about the metallic color is they don't always move in the way that I want them to flow. Some of them do. Maybe a little bit of pink here and there. Why not? I like combination of edges, hard edges, soft edges. And I do feel we need a bit of blue somewhere. I love myself a bit of splattering. I've seen time and time again, especially with water mediums like this, that when you're busy with it, you go, oh, it's ugly, I'm creating a big mess here, nothing is working. But then I just remind myself, hey, this is not my intention to create a work of art right now. It is my intention to use this as an activation page. So give yourself a break, people. Let's splatter in a little bit of water. Water moves the pigment around a little bit. I actually quite like it. I'm gonna just leave it alone, let it dry, let the salt do its thing. And when it's dry, all you basically do is just use a tissue and just remove the salt. Some of it will make little rings and little blooms and whatever. I think it's going to be really pretty to play with. So I'm happy with this activation. I'm going to let it dry. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's dry. And then I'm going to go and measure privately with a calculator and see if that helps. And then I'm going to cut them up, and tomorrow you can join me for my first session where I will use the little first cardstock out of this sheet of paper, and we're going to be playing with pencil, watercolor pencil, ordinary pencil. Like I said, I've got 3 of these sets of beautiful pencils, and it's not my medium. I don't really work with pencils, but I have them, and let's see what we can create with that. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and like this video, and drop me a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. I would love to meet you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye for now.